Welcome to the official channel of Faith Freedom International. The topic of this video is, was the Quran for the benefit of Muhammad or mankind? If we examine the Quran in detail, a surprisingly large number of revelations benefit Muhammad alone, which makes us suspect his motives. If it is claimed that Muhammad craved power, wealth, and women, he would not be able to gather enough followers who were willing to die supporting his accommodating religion unless the followers also gained, both in this life and even after death. Muhammad therefore invented a God who promised booty in this life and unparalleled pleasures or unparalleled torment after death for those who obeyed or disobeyed Allah Muhammad. It is no surprise that Allah had exactly the same mindset as Muhammad, considering that Muhammad invented Allah to fool the followers. Let's start the topic with a quote from a famous historian. Edward Gibbon said, "Instead of a perpetual and perfect measure of divine will, the fragments of the Quran were produced at the discretion of Muhammad. Each revelation is suited to the emergencies of his policy or passion, and all contradiction is removed by the saving maxim that any text of Scripture is abrogated or modified by any subsequent passage." Edward Gibbon is absolutely right here. The Quran and Hadith are proof of what he says. Let's continue the topic. Quran 480 says, "He who obeys the messenger obeys Allah." And Quran 33:36, "It is not for a believer when Allah and his messenger have decreed a matter that they should have any option in their decision." In these verses we see that Muhammad must be obeyed because of the authority given to him by Allah. This leaves the path open for him to exert his will on society without any criticism. Lying is condemned by the Quran in Surah 40 verse 28, which reads, "Truly, Allah does not guide one who transgresses and lies." However, the Prophet of Islam makes an exception for himself, as recorded in Sahih Bukhari, Volume 5, number 369. Narrated Jabir Abdullah. Allah's Messenger said, "Who is willing to kill Ka'b bin al-Ashraf, who has hurt Allah and his apostle?" Thereupon Maslama got up, saying, "O Allah's Messenger, would you like that I kill him?" The Prophet said, "Yes." Maslama said, "Then allow me to say a false thing, that is, to deceive Ka'b." The Prophet said, "You may say it." We have not displayed the entire ahadith as it is too lengthy. The Prophet of Islam allowed Maslama to kill Ka'b because Ka'b had written poems mocking Muslim women. In the end, Ka'b was deceived by Maslama, as he told Ka'b that he wanted to smell his head for the perfume, and when he had his head gripped, he asked his comrades to kill Ka'b. When we see a prophet for all mankind lying, condoning lying, and violating the Quran, does it not cast a doubt over the character of this man and the entire Quran? How do we know that this man did not manipulate the Quran for his own needs? In fact, it becomes very clear that the Quran was written for Muhammad's own benefit. Now let's look at the verses revealed in the Quran to make the Prophet's character look unblemished. Quran 3:161 states, "No prophet could ever be false to his trust. If any person is so false, he shall on the day of judgment restore what he misappropriated. Then shall every soul receive its due, whatever it earned, and none shall be dealt with unjustly." In the Asbab al-Suyul, page 65, al-Suyuti says, "The above verse was revealed because red velvet went missing after the war of Badr. Some people said, maybe the apostle of Allah took it. Thus Allah revealed this verse to acquit the apostle. Ibn Abbas said so." On another day, Muhammad himself had said, Malik Muwada Hadith, number 21.3.10, "I advise you of 10 things. Do not kill women or children, or an aged, infirm person. Do not cut down fruit-bearing trees. However, Quranic revelations conveniently came down to help Muhammad when he wanted to violate what he had decreed. Quran 5:59 says, "What you, O Muslims, cut down of a palm tree of the enemy, or you left it standing on its stem, it was by the leave of Allah, and in order that he might disgrace the fasiqun, the rebellious, the disobedient to Allah." This verse was revealed by Allah after Muhammad impulsively responded to a situation when he burned the palm trees of Banu Nadir. Destroying palm trees was not permitted, and all tribes observed this. Now let us see what the Islamic scriptures say about wealth. How did Muhammad acquire wealth since he did not work for a living? He tells us in his own words, Sahih Bukhari, Volume 4, Chapter 88. Narrated Ibn Umar that the Prophet said, "My livelihood is under the shade of my spear, and he who disobeys my orders will be humiliated by paying jizya." Footnote: under the shade of my spear means from war booty. The Quran also repeats the same message. Quran 8:41. "And know that any booty that you may capture, a fifth of it belongs to Allah and the Messenger." Interestingly, if we read Islamic history, we know that Muhammad and his 300 followers had attacked a caravan which led to the Battle of Badr. The goods taken by Muhammad and his men were estimated to be worth 50,000 gold dinars. The surviving Meccans were exchanged for ransom, but those who did not fetch a satisfactory ransom were killed. Muhammad duly received the following revelation to excuse his barbaric behavior. Surah 8, verses 67 to 69. "It is not fitting for a prophet that he should have prisoners of war until he hath thoroughly subdued the land. Ye look for the temporal goods of this world, but Allah looketh to the hereafter, and Allah is exalted in might, wise. Had it not been for a previous ordainment from Allah, a severe penalty would have reached you from the ransom that ye took. But now enjoy what ye took in war, lawful and good. But fear Allah, for Allah is oft forgiving, most merciful." These verses were revealed to legitimize Muhammad's plundering and ease the conscience of the Muslims. It is very clear that Muhammad was simply a warlord and plunderer, taking other people's property as well as captives. Allah aided and abetted Muhammad in his criminal activities, and so both Muhammad and Allah were equally brothers in crime. Was there any difference between Muhammad and Allah? Jesus condemned theft, but Muhammad made a living out of it. In Part 2, we will continue to deal with this topic. The topic will be dealt with exhaustively in 4 parts. We hope our Part 1 was helpful to those seeking truth and that they will find Part 2 interesting. Thank you, and see you in the next part.